Well, here we are again with another episode. Welcome everyone to the 9th episode of the Fully Pinned podcast. Again, I just want to thank the homie Luke. Like I said, taking time out of a race season with everything that's going on during it. You know, he's battling through a couple of injuries and stuff like that. Thank you so much for making the time to sit down with me and just doing what we do, having a yarn. As per usual, there's a ton of laughs. There's some really great insights, and you'll get to see that Luke is just a really laid-back dude that loves to ride bikes. So here it is, episode 9 of the Fully Pinned podcast with Luke Meier-Smith. Let's go!
Every setback you have is more motivation to
100%.
come back stronger. So the usual sports, soccer, did a bit of tennis, even karate and stuff.
Good.
We grow avocados, so.
Oh, there we go. That's something I didn't know. The people need to know about the avocados.
Yeah.
All right. This will be episode 9. Yeah. All right, guys. Welcome to the Fully Pinned podcast. This is episode number 9. Now, I apologize if I get this incorrect, but I'm pretty sure it's episode number 9 with the homie Luke Meier-Smith, bro. Thank you so much for making time. Like, you've
no worries.
Absolutely wild schedule, you know, busy end of year, like, man, lots on the plate.
For sure. Yeah, no, good to be here. Thank you for your time, and looking forward to it.
Man, it's gonna be good to, you know, sit down and have a chat. I just man, it's one thing, obviously, like, you got the association with, you know, purity, you know, plant protein at the moment, and I guess I could jump into quite a deep question first, but obviously you came back from like that pretty intense injury. James said you are an absolute workhorse, bro. Where do you think that, and also Jules, I don't know if you've spoken much with Jules, I'm assuming you would have.
Yeah, a bit.
She said, like, between you and Ryan, like, it's pretty gnarly. She hasn't met anyone with, you know, such focus and work ethic before. Where do you think that focus comes from, bro?
Good question. I mean, my dad's a pretty hard worker, and I guess just to get to where I am, like, it's taken a lot of hard work, and I've had, not just now, like, quite a lot of setbacks with injuries, and just wanting to sort of be where I am and race professionally as my career. I don't know. I've just always had that drive, really. I feel like every setback you have is more motivation to
100%
come back stronger. So,
do you think it's something that you can develop, and then, but some people like yourself have that intrinsic, like, all right, this is what I want.
Yeah.
You know, this is who I am, and this is what I'm going to be. Do you think it's something that you can develop, but for others but for others it's a part of who they are?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit part of who you are, but also I think you can develop it. Just with whatever goals you're chasing, really, and just how badly you want to get where you want to achieve and that type of thing.
Yeah, it was interesting. I've never really started it off like with such a deep question straight away. It's just, you know, from, you know, the little bit of digging that I did and just, you know, following your journey, it's very evident you know, coming off the back of under 21, you know, world champs, you know, the way you race, how you act in your teams is very evident. And what, you know, James and Jules have told me, it's very evident that, you know, you like to get stuck in and you know what you want for yourself. It's good to see, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's take it. Let's take a throwback. Let's do a bit of a history type thing. What got you into riding bikes? Like, what was the first bike? Where's your history around it? Was it, here's a BMX? Like, did you ever think at any point, like, what's the story there?
Yeah, so we both, my brother and I, started in BMX racing. Before that, I was about 11 and Remy was 9. Before that, we were just playing like the usual sports, soccer, did a bit of tennis,
Yep.
Even karate and stuff.
Good. What?
Yeah.
How much do you do karate for?
Oh, like maybe half a year.
Oh, yeah.
Just bouncing between sports, and then when I was about 11, we jumped into BMX racing, and just from there really we continued to do that for the next few years until I was about 15. Pretty competitively we did, the state rounds, national championships and stuff like that. I wasn't that good. Remy was probably better than me for his age, but
he's a bit of an animal, that kid, eh?
Yeah. And then when we were 15, when I was 15, I went to mountain biking, and the rest is history really. Just started competing in that, and now we're here.
What was it, because so many people I've talked to since I've started this journey with the podcast, since I've been back on a bike, who are in a professional sense on a mountain bike, they've got a history with BMX. What was it that when you jumped on the mountain bike gave you that, oh, this is it?
Yeah.
This is what I want. Do you remember like a key thing? Was it a sound? Was it a feeling? Like, was it the bike? What do you reckon it was that, got your heart stuck in?
It's a good question. I mean, I think I always just loved bikes. I mean, my dad, going back to his early days, he used to race bikes as well. So I
cool.
think it came from that a little bit. He used to do like the velodrome and road racing.
Hey.
He was sort of a year or two younger than me. He sort of retired. He sort of overdid himself, overtrained in the end, and then went surfing. So we also surf, which is cool. But be from his background really, and I've always just loved riding bikes. Even when I was 2 or 3 years old, I was on the little bike with no training wheels and stuff like that. So
rolling around doing your thing,
riding around the farm.
Have you? So you grew up on like acreage type thing?
Yeah. My mum and dad have an avocado farm.
Oh, cool.
So we got about a bit over. I think we sold a few acres, but I think a bit over 100, and we grow avocados. So.
Oh, there we go. That's something I didn't know. The people need to know about the avocados.
Yeah.
So you obviously would have had motos around on the farm too.
Yeah. When we were younger, we sort of rode motorbikes before we did BMX or anything. When I was probably 5 or 6, I had a little motorbike that I'd rip around the farm. And we go like every year for Easter. We go down with our cousins to like near Thredbo, and we'd ride motorbikes for like a week or 2 for Easter, and
that good is that?
All before we got into BMX racing and that type of thing.
And I actually, who was it? Last person I sat down with, because I haven't announced anyone to say, but last person I sat down with got a heavy like motocross or like, motocross history, and I would love to have one day. But I feel like it's increasingly hard. Like obviously on a bike, you can go down your local jumps. You can literally just pin through the bush wherever. But I would love one. Obviously, there's a financial obligation to owning a motorbike, even though some mountain bikes are just as expensive. And do you ever get, it's insane. Do you ever get time to get on a moto, like when you're off season? Like, do you thrash around on the farm still and stuff like that?
Yeah. Sort of I've got into it the last year or two. I have a Yamaha 250 4-stroke.
Very nice.
And I try and use it. Or this last off season, I was trying to use it a bit more for training, just for like arm pump and strength. Obviously, it's quite different sort of technique to mountain biking, but no, we got into it a little bit, hoping to probably ride even more this off season. We have I don't know if you've heard about the Island AC I think it's called, which is like only I think an hour or so from Newcastle.
Vaguely rings a bell.
So we went there once or twice. Sort of got like 3 different tracks and some like, what do you call it? Single track as well, and it's pretty good training. So
that'd be dope. Well, it's something I spoke about with Toby Gibbons on the last that we did. He's got a bit of a history like with the moto stuff, and he said it does, even though it's a big weighty machine, leaning it to let the tires grab. A lot of the like principles around riding a moto transferred easily when he went to racing. When he got into racing mountain bikes, did you find that there is a fair bit of carryover in regards to principles between the two?
Yeah, I think there's a few. It's obviously like 2 wheels, and it's obviously a lot heavier of a bike, but I feel like more so even when you ride the motorbike and then you go back to the mountain bike, it's like you just throw the thing around, and you're like, holy crap, this thing's so light.
That's exactly what I said to him. Like it's kind of like it's almost like having a weight training vest. If you continually have that vest on, you're continually training on it and doing things. When you chuck a whip or anything on a moto compared to the bike, it's like, man, I've got all this strength that you've applied, because everything is going to be so much more on when you're riding the motorbike.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's definitely like a few different techniques, but I think mountain biking, you're standing up and all that type of thing.
Whereas
I've been trying to like learn a lot more on the moto, like just stand up all the time.
Yep.
I think the main difference is like, you gotta like squeeze the knees and.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that.
Where I'm sort of like, when I mountain bike, I almost like use my hips to turn half the time.
Yeah.
But motorbike, you sort of got to lock your knees, and it's more with your elbows and your upper body, just trying to like lean the bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it like? I'm sure you would have been asked this a million times, but what's it like shredding with your bro on a world stage? Like you must have those moments when you're sitting there about to, drop bombs with him down a track. You're like, holy, I'm with this is my bro, and we're about to go do this. Do you still have those surreal moments? Like you've been doing it for a while together, but like, every so often, does it just catch you like, damn, we doing this?
Yeah. No, well, I think you just saying that reminds me a bit more. It's definitely pretty surreal, like being on the same team and
big time,
being able to work together, and I've helped him a lot, and no, it's pretty cool to see him doing like really well this year with some standout results, and just last week before I injured myself again, he didn't do the track walk in the morning, because what they do for track walk day, they do track walk in the morning for the elite team, but then there's junior practice in the afternoon.
So you don't get a track walk before you practice?
Yeah, so you do track walk, and then we usually practice the following day. So it's like
okay, gotcha.
Track walk. So he didn't do the track walk because he wanted to walk it after junior practice in the afternoon. And then they changed the schedule.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, next minute we were practicing in the afternoon as well, just to get some more time on the track. I think they decided, because it was a new track. So I was sort of like towing him in for the first few runs. So that was cool. But like just being able to be at this level really together is pretty cool.
That's so sick. And obviously, like with the signing to Giant, I do remember when you signed, like obviously being on the same team, you owned a few Giant bikes, growing up. So like to come back as a homestay must have been like, as I obviously with propane beforehand, and I couldn't pick it. Like I had no guess, but like reading the story around it was really cool. It must have been, when it was all said and done, you could finally got to announce this. Like, did it feel like a throwback for you as much as it was an advancement in your career?
Yeah, a bit of both, for sure. Like, when we started, like my first year or two mountain biking, we were I was on a giant. I had like a giant XTC hardtail. Was like my first
Yes.
bike.
Got
And
smashed, didn't it?
Yeah, I was racing the enduros on it, and everyone was there with their dual suspension. And my dad was like, "No, you don't need dual suspension." I'm there on the hardtail, trying to race the local enduros, but like it wasn't. The tracks aren't crazy around us locally, so it was all right.
Yeah.
And then my first proper downhill bike was a Giant Glory. So back on the Glory now. It's pretty cool.
Wild. What year would that first Glory have been that you owned?
Oh, I think it was. Yeah, I would have been like 16. So
Trying to remember the colours.
yeah, I think like 2017, 18 maybe 2017.
Yeah,
I think
that's so.
2017.
You can find them anywhere. Like obviously, with it being such a widely distributed like band, it's so crazy. Like some of the like old school bikes, you can if you got enough time to dig, what you can find on Marketplace.
Yeah.
Was that bike a marketplace banger, or was it something you got through?
Yeah, it was sort of like one of the newer, like the carbon at the time, like 2016 or whatever it was.
Yeah,
it was like the newest release sort of model. But no, it's cool. Like with Giant, joining them with their new Giant Glory Advanced model now. It's pretty awesome. To be part of the team and to have Giant with a new downhill bike and getting back on the scene really after quite a few years without a new downhill bike. So
yeah, gotcha. It'd be refreshing, just having that new start, new bike, new team. Like not only is it like a new bike, but it's a throwback to that like original like colorway. Like when you see that thing on track, it's like boom, damn. Like, I don't know what vlog it was, or whether it was at Crankworks Joyride where they had the original one on show, and Rob Warner was talking about you boys being on like it's like, oh yeah, the Meier-Smith boys are on the bike looks amazing. When you first saw it, was it like, whoa?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, I didn't really have too much reference to the original.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
That they threw up, that they did the paint job against. So no, but it's definitely pretty cool to have a bike that with that colorway, and I think it's a pretty big deal for Giant.
100%.
To have this new bike and the same sort of paint job.
If you got just something off the top of the head, if you got invited to something like Hardline, would you take it?
It's a good question. My brother's actually pretty keen to do it. He was talking about it last year.
I bet you Joe would love to smash something like
that. Yeah. So you might see him there maybe next year or something. But I don't know. I'd probably love to do it someday. But it's pretty insane. But there's some guys like my age that have been doing it, and I'd say I'd be more than capable. But it's just a big risk, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
ain't seen no 110-foot gaps in no World Cup tracks, that's for sure.
Yeah. Just need to, maybe improve my big jumps, and I'll be sweet. But
yeah, would you like to see some big? I mean, obviously, like they're to the general public, they're pretty big jumps. But would you like to see more doubles and things like that? As I know a few riders have touched on things like that this year. BK, Dino, a little bit. Would you like to see a little bit more stuff like that worked into World Cup tracks? Yeah,
it'd probably be cool just to separate everyone a little bit. I think it's hard, mostly just with the. I memean, nothing against the women or anything, but like they're awesome riders. But just like,
it's a hard thing to cater for. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, quite a range you need to cater for in the junior women and junior men and stuff like that. So maybe they could make some bigger jumps and have some more sort of but no, like you said, like the jumps are pretty decent.
100%. It's not like they're small or anything, but it'd be cool to see, like a few different doubles or maybe even like a hip here and there, like thrown into it. It'd be gnarly. It's funny though, like on that point, obviously there was the whole drama. Oh, not a drama, like the thing around, the juniors finals getting canned. In I don't even know how to say it. It's not Ludenville, but
that's how I say it.
Yeah. I heard it said right, and I still can't say it.
It's like Ludenville or something.
Ludenville or something. But then, like, they're saying that last jump into the left-hander was unrideable, and then Millie Jonset, and like a bunch of those other female riders started smashing, still started like hitting it, and I was like, it's all that stuff that's going on at the moment does it plague on your mind at all, like the misinformation, like the lack of communication? Is that a frustrating thing for you as a rider?
Yeah, a little bit. Like it's definitely definitely had some complaints, I guess. Even on our side with our team, just with them not being very extremely organised and sort of changing last minute. I mean, you sort of got to like give them, it's their first year doing this, so like
teething problems for sure. Yeah,
sorting it all out and figuring it out. So it hasn't really weighed on my mind when I'm racing or anything, but I guess looking back last week at Ludenville, maybe if we didn't have that practice on the track walk day, I wouldn't be sitting here not riding. So,
there you go. It's those high. I'm in a bit of a sticky situation with an injury at the moment. I've got a pretty lengthy time before I'm back to full bomb and stuff. So, and you think about hindsight, and it's very hard. I can't imagine what it must be like. This is your job, your livelihood, this is your career. It must be hard not to let hindsight chew you up in a professional status. You've had the injuries, that's something we'll touch on. You had the injuries this year. Is it hard not to get in a professional perspective in like it being your career? Do you do any sort of work for yourself, or do you find it hard not to fall into like those mental lows with so much pressure and, obviously obstacles of having injuries that you've had this year, man?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's something I've been trying to work on. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't down for a few days. And even my first my collarbone as well earlier in the year. Just so much work really goes into preparing and being ready for these races, and just to be injured. I mean, I know it's part of the game, but
doesn't change how hard it is.
It doesn't change how hard it is, and just all the sacrifices really is what gets me down, and just to sort of be put back behind the 8 ball basically, and I find it hard as well, like this year, because I missed so many of the races to watch. Even like it's just like it's good for me to learn and watch the other guys ride, but it's also like
you want to be on the bike, bro.
Be riding. So
what do you do? Sorry, you keep going.
Yeah, you're right. No, it's all just a process really, and we'll be back in no time. So
that's it. Well,
every day by day.
Was it the same side as your collarbone?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so the collarbone's, at least we know the collarbone's solid, right? Like it's all good.
Yeah, good. You got a bit of steel in there now. See, I didn't know, because when you, I think I wrote, I seen the story before I seen the post about it.
Yeah.
Like you'd put the reel or whatever it was in your story, and I was like, I said whatever I said, and you wrote back, it's so frustrating, but hey, more time for the potty. Like,
yeah.
I can't. Man, you're a trooper. Like, salute professional athletes that deal with this stuff. Like, you know, I ain't a professional athlete, but I've got 2 kids at home, and like trying to chase after them with like a bung knee at the moment is like, it's booked. Like, so, man, look, like I said, we know your work ethic. We know what your family's capable of and what you and your bro are capable of. It's just a matter of, like you said, bro, it's just a matter of time. And, man, you can use it to learn. Like I have learned so much because obviously I've been off work. I've learned so much in this time about myself mentally.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, it's definitely been a mental challenge, and just working through that, and learning about myself really a lot more, and just ways I can be better really, and limit my mistakes really on the bike and stay on the bike.
It must be, how do I phrase this? It must be hard because you're a go-getter. Like, I can't imagine everybody has the same attitude when it comes to racing, because not everybody's the same person, right? But you're a go-getter. You know what you want. And it must be hard to not let that fire like rise up while you're trying to be in that zone when you're pegging through trees at 50k. Like, Now, like, do you have any techniques or anything you do to try and find that medium? Because there's guys like Deprella,
just balls to the
wall whole time, and that works for him. But obviously, when you ride that way, there's these things can happen, as it did for him last week. Do you have anything that helps you dial in what you need to do without letting that animal instinct, that fighter that you have? Like, do you have any processes when you're in the gate? Like, what's your thing that you do to like get you in the zone?
Yeah, I think obviously, I feel like last week I just got a bit excited really, and a bit of a frustrating crash. But it's definitely important. I think my brother does it quite well. Just like building the pace up slowly. And sometimes it's hard because you don't have that much time on the track before you're doing your qualifying racing. Just trying to be calculated really. And I feel like I have been a lot better, especially last year and even before my injuries this year. Like, I've become a lot more calculated, and it's really just learning that type of thing, and just taking your time really. I think, like I said last week, I just got a bit excited, new track, and I actually stopped and looked at the section before I had my crash, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll give this line a go, and I pushed up. And I think that's usually a bit of a recipe for disaster. I think I'm not going to do that again.
When you looked at the line, was it something that people hadn't have done? And was that like, oh man, it's hard not to poke.
Yeah.
Was there like 2 or 3 that could have worked, and you're like, oh, this might be a bit spicy, but I reckon I could do it type thing?
Yeah, no, it was more like there was actually like so what I was doing was almost like the B line. And there was like an A where I slid, you could jump from there to the inside over this like rock. I don't know if you saw on the right.
Yeah, no, I remember a couple of people were tapping that section. Yeah.
Yes, and that was sort of the line early on, and I was like, oh, I'll just play it safe. Like it was only a short practice because it was on the track walk day, and I think it was my 4th run, and I was like, yeah, I'll just hit the B line now and maybe try the A tomorrow. And just pushed up, and like I said before, it's not very good because you sort of lose your flow a little bit. Not that I felt that I was doing anything crazy, but I maybe just came in a little bit too fast. And that line that I was doing, Finn Isles just before me, and a couple other guys, but it wasn't most people were doing like the straight line over the rock or hopping it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really that bedded in. It was a little bit marbly.
Yeah, gotcha.
Just caught me out really, and
That's it.
slid the wheels, and wasn't a good spot to do that. And
Hindsight.
down the hill we went.
Mate, you come out, like you said, collarbone's good.
Yep.
She's
stronger than before.
Huh?
It's stronger than before.
It's stronger than before. Got a bit of steel in there, most likely. And
no, actually, no surgery for it. So
no surgery.
Yeah. So that probably it sort of takes a little bit longer if you don't get surgery. I mean, most of the time you need it, but mine wasn't fully snapped in half.
Ah, so it's a partial like a partial break.
Yeah, it was pretty decent job, but it was like maybe like 3/4 cracked through. But it, it was
Most
still
of them say when mountain bikers chuck it out there, it's like I'm like heinous X-ray into this, and you're like, oh, fuck.
It's a little bit tweaked, so like maybe slightly different shape than it was before.
Oh, shit's all good, but
yeah, it's all good now. And now just got to fix the shoulder up, and we'll be all right.
Well, so what now? So we've got the shoulders in, we're repairing. What's the next what's the next step? Are you gonna get any? Is it still too sore, like 2 weeks? Any bike time, or do we wait till next race? Like, what are you looking like next few rounds?
Yeah, so obviously missed this one, and then we have I think we're staying here in Morzine for a week.
Yep.
So that'll be good. Get the recovery in, and then we are then going to America to do the US Open the week before Snowshoe.
Man.
Yeah, so I'm hoping to try and ride the US Open. We'll see how it goes. I think it will be
a little bit of a warm up.
Yeah, it'll be 3 weeks then, so it'll be good just to ride and before Snowshoe.
Sorry, bro. My boy just got home from school.
You're all good.
Can you take us out, please, Dad?
2 seconds, bro.
All good.
Oh my gosh. I feel for my wife. She bought those like kids magazines in Coles on the bottom row that you used to like gun when you were young. Every so often they got lollies on them, and he hassles us whenever we go to the shops, and he's got Whiz Fizz, and he's 5 years old.
Oh no.
Yeah, bro, straight up. All right, back to it anyway. It's gonna be funny.
So it should be
or
so
US Open. Snowshoe.
Yeah, the week before. Yeah, the week before Snowshoe, there should be 3 weeks then. And hoping I can ride that, and then be ready for Snowshoe months and then. It's just really just taking day by day, see how it goes. It's sort of, I probably struggled to be 110% by the end of the year or for the last few races, but just see how it goes, see how we feel, and see how it feels riding, and just try and take my time really, because it's not really something you want to F with too much.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in your capacity with what you're doing.
Yeah, it's my.
Now here's the other one. Sorry, bro. Look, I don't blame you for wanting to take it easy. I guess that's another another tough thing, because you want to new team. You're an ambitious you're an ambitious man. It's like, I want to gun it, but I can't. So just do it later. But you're not in you're in a good position though. You know where you're at. You said yourself, you've made, you got better at calculating things, assessing things on the bike. Like, you're getting stronger. Like, the training's good. Even though, aside from the injuries, you seem to be in a really, really positive position, bro.
Yeah, sort of, I've chatted to a few people, and it's like, there's, a lot more to lose than there is to gain, really. these last few races. Like missing the first few races earlier on in the year. I'm not really sitting anywhere pretty in the overall standings or anything like that. And as much as I've injured myself this year, I've also achieved some pretty awesome things outside of the World Cup season. So just gotta take my time really, and just focus on every day, and really just try and look at the bigger picture really for these last few races.
What does training like? Obviously, it must be hard to get gym access, but between the bike time and the races you've got, for the end of the year, do you get any? Is it predominantly all bike time now? Are you still hitting gym where you can? What does training look like when you're? Because I imagine there must be something, but what does training look like when you're at this end of the season?
Yeah, into the season and when there's, back-to-back races, you're mostly just riding. But try and keep the gym up as well, especially this year. I probably didn't as much last year, but I've been trying to get to the gym in between riding. And when there's no races, sort of have a bit of a structure to hit the gym, 2 times, 3 times for the week. But in the race weeks, it's sort of you start on Wednesday, so maybe you could do a gym Monday, Tuesday, or you're resting really for the race week ahead. So definitely not in the gym quite as much as you are for the pre-season, but try and keep those things topped up, and everything else, in the off season you do your base work and stuff like that, and then more when we're here, it's riding intervals and trying to get some gym in as well.
Yeah, gotcha. For anyone, something I'd like to touch on, because obviously I competed in powerlifting for 10 or 11 years, and I've been in the gym for ages. For anyone that I would be listening that is curious, would you mind breaking down what training looks like pre-season? So season ended, you start building the body. What does that look like, for someone like yourself that does it in a professional capacity? Because I'm sure there's a few people out there that'd be interested in knowing what that looks like.
Yeah, so it's I usually, once the season's done, I usually have a month off, maybe 2, depending on when the season starts the next year. But I think this off season I'll have probably a month off. I think the season starts in May next year. So but you sort of start with just get in the gym really. I do mostly strength stuff, a few little circuits, but nothing crazy. I think more if you're on the enduro side, you'll be doing a bit more high intensity circuits. But for downhill, my coach, he has me doing predominantly just strength training really. And then you do quite a lot of base work. When I say base work, just road miles, long rides, just to build your engine up really. 2-3 hour rides.
Do you find? Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, do that 2 or 3 times a week with 2 or 3 gym sessions a week. And then usually some longer intervals. And then coming into the season, you build into shorter intervals, and more sort of explosive gym stuff and that type of thing.
Yeah, makes sense. Do you find that post-season long, pre-season, post-end of season, pre-season, long bike time, I guess my question is, do you find that pays the most? Let's say because you did 6 runs. Someone said you did 6 runs at Worlds. Is that when those longer rides pay the dividends? Because obviously downhill, predominantly more strength. Yes, there's a lot of energy expended. If the track is physical, there's more pedaling. But when you're doing 6 runs and then all right, sweet, that's practice day. Then you've got practice before, like you're racing. Then you've got qualies and cancel semis UCI, please. And then now you've got semis as well. Is that when those longer rides pay their dividends?
Yeah, for sure. Like just your energy throughout the whole day.
Yeah, gotcha. Because you've built that tank.
Yeah, you just have that base. To be able to do lots of runs, and I think I do more runs than most half the time, but it definitely helps for sure.
Is that something, because I was very surprised when, I can't remember who it was or who said it, or if it was in a
I think it was the Fox. Yeah, dialed, yeah.
Dialed. I was like, what? Like,
yeah.
And I think even after you rode off, I can't remember.
Geordie.
Yeah. Geordie was just like, he's like, yeah, mate, he's a machine. Is that something that helps you get like mentally sound doing that when you've got the time, like knowing the track in and out, like seeing it on you, not just watching it back on a GoPro or whatever, but riding it, feeling it? Is that something that helps you get mentally switched on, doing that few more reps of the track?
Yeah, for sure. It's like, I mean, the more time you can spend on the track, the better. It's just obviously, you don't want to use too much energy because, you got the qualifying racing the next few days after. So it's definitely a balance between, energy levels and just trying to get to know the track the best you can. Talking about world champs in Fort William, that was like my first race back from my collarbone. So I was just like not really focusing on the result and just trying to get more bike time on the just for like my training really, and because I hadn't been at the races, just riding more.
So it's kind of like an opportunity to just get some bike time, even though it was like a race capacity type thing.
Yeah, because I'd been off the bike for a while. I think I was only back on the bike for 2 or so weeks then. So it was like, I may as well just do another lap just to, get the collarbone going really, and just build my pace really. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. It's funny like seeing, because I should have put 2 and 2 together. I wouldn't have even thought of it from that perspective that, is that something that you do normally though? Or do you, so like on a practice day, would you do 3 or 4 or?
I think, I'd usually aim for like on a practice day, 6 or 7 or so.
Truly.
I guess it seemed a bit more extreme in Fort William because the track's quite a bit longer and very physical. So it was like, that was like quite a lot. Like maybe if I was, 110% and riding my best, I would have done like a few, maybe like 5 or whatever, 4. So and it was just going through the process really. And at that time I hadn't really dialed my bike setup in. I'd only just got my bike set up like where I wanted it, like at Andorra. For Fort William, it was a bit of a shame. My setup was probably like too soft. I think that definitely held me back a little bit. Like still a good result, but I finished my run and like looking at the top boys times, I was like for me to go that quick, like I need my bike needs to be stiffer. Like it's too soft.
Needs to be hard, so it's not sinking in.
Yeah, so it was a bit, my setup was a little bit soft for Fort William. But that was just, learning really. It was good. And it was a good opportunity, coming into the next to Andorra and stuff. And we got like another week or so before Andorra, got some good testing in training, chucked on a harder coil on the rear, and was feeling better every day and came into Andorra feeling pretty ready and riding well. So, and that I think that showed and got a good result. And
What?
But now we're in again.
And here we are at this
Yeah,
Just
and here we
blocking
are.
the road.
Yeah.
Oh man. But look, like we were saying earlier, you're pointing yourself, you're moving in the right direction because you're getting those little kicks. Obviously, yes, it's a part of the game, like you said yourself, but you must take some comfort knowing, like, hey, we're getting good results. We're getting some results that I was, chasing. Speed is there. The bike setup style. You must be like, yes, look, I'm injured, but hey, we're heading where we need to be.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think like even this morning, I was thinking like about my result in Andorra. Obviously, I got a little bit lucky with the weather. The last few guys, I might have been a few positions worse, but just because that was my first World Cup for the year, and to get that result coming back from injury, I was like, damn, like I should be pretty happy with that.
Nice.
And like it was my second best career result in a downhill World Cup. So yeah, I think it was pretty awesome, and yeah, it was good to at least get one result in.
Yeah. Before we had another doozy.
Yeah, and now I can be up there. So yeah.
Speaking of that result, it was fifth in? Oh, I can't remember the race.
Sixth in Andorra the previous year.
Yeah. Seems to be a favourable track for you.
Yeah, it's done me pretty well. A sixth and an eighth. So, I enjoy the track. It's pretty fast and flat out, which suits my style quite a lot. So yeah, I enjoy that track.
Is there any track that you you would be happy if it wasn't in the circuit? If you could, I'll put it like this: if you could take one out and race another place, be it somewhere here in Oz or like another trail, what would you? I'll make it a bit jovial. Which race would you take out, and what would you put in its place?
They're all pretty awesome over here, to be honest. It'd be awesome to have like a race in New Zealand or Australia, like a World Cup, because it's all in Europe, which is definitely a bit of a bummer and hard for us Australians and New Zealanders. It'd be pretty cool to have like something maybe at like Thredbo or Waba in Oz, and obviously like a lot of good riding in New Zealand. That'd be they could have if they really wanted it to be like a World Cup series, like
it's ironic, eh? Like
as much as it is, it's more like a European. It's like a European series, really.
Let's be real, guys.
Yeah,
they don't travel in too much. They go between America.
It would be pretty hard, like for all the teams to get to Oz and New Zealand. But I mean,
you guys do it.
Yeah, we come over. I think just all the parts and everything, but they can make it work. Get some tents, and you don't need a truck every race.
No, you don't. I understand why they do that. It came up in conversation on like a different perspective of like, obviously, cycling and bicycles in Europe. Everyone got a bike. Everyone rides a bike. Like the actual, it comes back to that, whole almighty dollar type thing. But the industry in Europe for bicycles in general is so much more massive than anywhere else. And so it kind of, in a way, makes sense. And a lot of the headquarters are in, the UK, Europe, places like that for a lot of brands as well. So, factory teams, and it benefits them to financially, obviously, to put it all in one place. But you definitely hear that sentiment a fair bit. It's a World Cup. It'd be nice if maybe we go here, or maybe we did it I think it was Eddie Masters said it would be sick to have it because he just loves Japan. Like it'd be sick to have like a World Cup round in Japan.
Yeah.
I think it would be feasible if it was 1 or 2 races because these big brands can't be that. Yes, it would be expensive, but it can't be that short of money. They could make one trip to Southeast Asia or one trip to New Zealand. Like you know what I mean? Like the EDR got all the way out here to do the couple of rounds in Oz. So it'd be cool to see the Downhill World Cup do the same thing.
For sure, yeah. It would be awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah, hopefully in the future.
Hopefully. It is getting very sunny. Do you want to spin her? Do you want to spin around? I was like, this guy's cracking a sweat.
Yeah. I might actually grab my sunnies if that's all right.
Bro, go hard.
Sweet.
All good. We'll give the people a view of the beautiful background.
I'll just change my position. I've been locked out on the front deck.
Are you actually serious?
Yeah, my team. I think they've all gone to the pit already. So.
Oh, fair. Well, who are you staying with?
We're just at the team accommodation. We've got a nice spot.
Yes, you do. For anyone that doesn't know, he's in Leger at the moment, and the mountain is beautiful.
Yeah. So, no, it should be better here. There we go.
Yeah, man. Little bit less sun right in the face.
Yeah.
I was looking at it, I was like, man, it's getting brighter and brighter because obviously the sun's going down here. I was like, dang, it's getting brighter and brighter for the dude.
Just coming up a bit.
So it's just coming up now, did you say, pretty much over the hills?
Yeah.
Wild. Man, it was flipping. I guess
just coming up.
Do they have longer days where it is? Like, is it, because I know there's heaps of places in Europe where the daylight lasts like 18 hours or something insane. Is it like that in Leger?
Yeah, it's pretty, it's pretty long. At the moment, I think, probably my watch would probably tell me here. I think it's like, up at like 7, let me have a look. Where are you? But yeah, I think the sun, it's up to about 7:30ish, 8. Pretty long. Nothing crazy, but I can't even get it up. But yeah, like pretty long days at the moment. Yeah.
It's must be so sick, like just obviously spending all that time in Europe, hey, getting to ride, because obviously there's not just the racetrack. There's so many other beautiful places to ride, in those areas, eh?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think that's another thing. Just being injured, I've just got to appreciate where I am.
Yeah.
A bit more, really. I mean, as much as racing's everything for me, really, it's pretty amazing to be where I am, and traveling the world, racing my bike. So
wild, so sick. Yeah. Is there anywhere in the world that you haven't ridden that you'd like to ride?
For sure, I haven't been. There is quite a lot of I mean, there's so much riding everywhere, but like you said before, like Japan or something, I think it's got some pretty unique stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, a few places like that would be pretty awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. I have a mate of mine's got is it this year or next year? He's got a trip booked for Japan, and it's like a couple of massive. I feel like say Whistler Bike Park, right? I feel like it gets to a point where it's so big that it's like a mountain biking destination. It's not just like a park anymore. If it takes you like 3 days to ride all the trails, is it still a park? You know what I mean? He's riding a couple of places in Japan. I was like, that's a friggin' like it feels like it stretches across 2 mountain ranges. What you're describing to me.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, some places have so many trails. It's pretty awesome.
What else is there to ride like around where you are other than like, is it like a bike park that Leger is based through?
So yeah, there's Leger. So the side that the downhill track is on, they've got some trails there as well, but not that many. Just a couple like flow tracks and stuff like that. And then on the side I'm on right now, there's also a lift that goes up, and there's some more flow trails. I think some off-pace sort of tech tracks as well. Yeah, I think there's a lot of like just like free ride stuff. But the big spot though is just down the road in Morzine, which is literally you roll down the road like 2-3 kilometers, and you've got Super Morzine and Plenty, which have like so many trails, like just so many like off pace, just sort of free ride stuff off like the main, like they've got maybe 3 or 4 flow trails, and then there's just all these off pace tracks, which everyone's just sort of ridden in on the steeps and stuff. It's pretty unique. Like not many bike parks or anything have
what more Super Morzine has, or
like that many like just off pace trails that people have just ridden in, really.
That's so sick. I love that like ridden in hand cut, like because
it's pretty insane.
Like, is it the way that I kind of like learned about mountain biking? Like, so I'm 36, so I'm a little bit older than of some of the people that I get to sit down sound with. Like, my first introduction to mountain biking was free ride and stuff through like a super old MTV series that I used to watch on YouTube in the like early 2000s. And so my introduction to it wasn't like manicured, race tracks. And so even though that stuff was around. So I kind of fell in love with it like that way. So when people started describing what Morzine was like and Super Morzine was like, and I was like, whoa, that sounds like, to me, that's everybody has a different love with mountain biking and their understanding and their revelation of it and what it is. But like, essentially, like the way I see it, mountain and a bike. And then when you go to a bike park, like that's a track and a trail, like is a little bit, yes, you're still riding a mountain bike, but are you still, it gets very philosophical. Are you still mountain biking? When you're riding the big tables and things like that. Like when you describe that to me, I'm like, I probably couldn't ride half of it, but like to me, I was like, wow, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
For sure. Yeah. It's got everything really, like obviously, like you said, like the man-made tracks on the hill, and then you can sort of mix that with all the off-piste tracks, and like so many people ride there, like it's super rough, which people complain about, but it's actually like such good training. It's like just huge holes and like roots and stuff.
Everybody says it is freaking like I'm 99% sure Ty Bowmaker does Captivate.
Yeah.
So he did a edit. I'm pretty sure he's been there multiple times, but and ridden in multiple places. But he did an edit for Brage, Freerider. Everyone knows who he is. At Morzine, and he said it's just like you can't describe it, like it's the most insane, like downhill riding ever. Like just what you're describing, like it sounds like pretty gnarly, like brakes cooked in a few runs type thing.
Yeah, pretty, like you can get on some pretty steep tracks, and like it's pretty insane. Like it's also a bit scary. You can like, because you do some off pace and they sort of like, it's sort of like the tracks cross quite a lot, and like sometimes like I'd be doing my race runs or whatever, and I'd be like switching from the main line onto some off-piste, back onto the main line. Just like last year, I remember I came flying out of this off-piste section, and there was this guy coming down the hill on like he was doing like the beeline on the black track. There's like a feature called 10%, which is like this really steep section, and it always gets super rough, and then there's a big berm at the bottom.
Is that it's got that wooden feature thing that people gap into that right end of berm out of the woods?
It's more like you can sort of jump into it. You've probably seen videos, like you come in.
Yeah. I think I know what it is.
Cross a bit of a road and you jump, and then it's just like a big bowl, and and a big left at the bottom. But yeah, I wasn't doing that section. It was just near there though, and I came out of the bush, and like there was this. I don't know where the GoPro went. I had a GoPro of it and like a screenshot of him. I don't know where it went on my phone, but like, and it was like his front wheel was like probably like 10 centimeters, 15 centimeters from my back. Like I'd passed him, and he was like about to hit my back wheel. Like it was just like.
But did you die?
Close. Yeah, and I was like doing like a race run, and I couldn't help but laugh. Like I was just
where
like.
Where did this guy come from?
Yeah, like real quickly.
I would love to see that. Like, I'm not saying you should go on a deep dive for that video, but that would be hilarious to see. Because I've watched a few vlogs where you've had like not like a super hairy moment, but like. Let's just say you've had like a massive air and gotten close to someone. That little bit of like, wow, that makes you laugh, or like you almost overshadow it, or you almost half die. Like I've come over like a table like real quick and gotten too close to the bro in front of me, or someone's like made a turn that I haven't anticipated or whatever. I'm like, oh! You're like but you don't die, but you're almost doing it. Just sends you into that like riotous laughter.
Yeah.
Funny story those.
About. Yeah. Oh, that's what we live for, right?
Oh, bro. Yeah, to almost not die.
Yeah. It was funny story about a similar situation there. I was doing like a recovery ride, and I was just pedaling up this tarred road.
Yeah.
And I went for like an hour and a half, and I just pedaled up, and like I was like, all right, I'm gonna like work on my like cornering technique going down the road on the tar, and then next minute it just got all out of hand, and I was like just going so fast on this tar road.
Were you by yourself?
Yeah, but I was having like the most fun. It wasn't even like mountain biking; it was just hooning down the road, and like. I made some sketchy passes on cars, like one car I was just catching, and I just like went around, and then next minute there's a car coming head on the other way, and it was like a block corner, and I was like, all right, I went for it, and then there was a car like right where I couldn't see it, and like it just beeped the horn, and I just like sliced in between, and I was just laughing again because I don't know, it was so fun, but
It's so. Look, I'm so glad that you've expressed this, because I've tried to explain to people before why, like, riding a bike is super fun, but I would say that I kind of like being a little bit scared, like not to the point where I'm so out of control, I know I'm going to crash, but like sometimes you kick up to that speed on a trail, even if it's something that you've ridden a million times. Let's say you hit it way more aggressive and you are like pinning with your lads. Like there's a particular trail at Boomers that last time I went down it, one of the boys that was following me, like by all means, it's not fast. It was fast for me. And then after the run, I was like, oh, that's way too quick. Like,
No,
but like, it's weird. I'm like, why is my brain the way that, like, why does it like that? Like, why do I like that? Like, why do you like, oh, there's a car, and then straight up in past it, you're like, yes! But then when you get to the bottom of the hill and back to your accommodation, you're like, frick, I almost freaking died.
Yeah, I think it's all just like, if you're confident in your ability, really, like,
Yeah,
it's
100%.
like, if you're not like, like you said, I don't know, if you're riding a gnarly section and you're not confident in your fear, like you're in fear, it's not enjoyable. But when you're like, feel like you're in control and,
But you are pushing it a bit.
yeah, pushing the limits, but it doesn't phase you type of thing. It's like,
it's an odd thing. And this is why I think like a mate just got picked up a DH bike. He's he's got his roadie for his trainer, like for his long rides. He's got his Duro and XC for, local and things like that. But like he does threadbow trips and like Buller and all that type of thing. And he wanted a downhill bike that, that could hold speed, doesn't get clapped by the heavier tracks and that. And we spoke about like the same sort of thing. Like it's funny, like when you like why mountain bikers are just a little bit like different. Like
yeah,
when you describe this to it, because the guy he got the bike off is where I was leading. The guy he got the bike off, like he said he'd been watching so much World Cup.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh man, and been on a bike for, heavy XC enduro, and like downhill's another level. Let's be real. Like, I don't think people really realize how insane some of these tracks actually are, head height rock drops in the middle of race runs, things like this. When you're doing there's a reason there's freaking, 20-inch pads on every single tree in the forest.
Yeah.
Like, he crashed it once. And I think it actually was Boomers, and he said, it's not for me. I've crashed my bike, and then I'm like, I got to go back to the top and do it again. I'm like, that's not for him. It's funny how like you had this, the car. All right, the car. Yeah. But you're just like, I'll go do that again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it's definitely different.
Not for everyone, is it?
Yeah, a little bit. I get just that adrenaline, and
it's an addictive feeling.
Yeah.
How do you? I guess we kind of touched on this before. Like the race mind, when you are like obviously like I want to win, the adrenaline must be so hard to control in that state, because it would naturally come up when you're in that start gate and it's hella quiet, and you're counting down those seconds, and then you're out and it snaps. It must be so hard to not let that adrenaline overtake.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you're going fast down a downhill track. You've got all that other factor. You're on the clock. It's a race. You're trying to get a result for your team. It must be so hard to not let in that setting, let that adrenaline overtake you.
Yeah, for sure. It's like you try and be so focused that like your mind sometimes
switches off almost.
Yeah, or like it goes somewhere else and starts thinking about I don't know, something negative, and the next minute you're trying to get your head back in it, like you start sort of thinking too much. Like the best race runs are when you're just completely switched off. It's pretty hard to explain, but
it's a flow state.
Yeah.
I 100% know where you're going with that, because like I've had moments, or even when I've been in the gym, like I know it's a very, A to B type thing, but when you're on, you're on. Like I've picked up weights in the gym. I'm just like, this is an on day. Like unexplain it. You like the flick is, switch is flicked.
Yeah.
Like, is it the same for racing? Like, like when you're in that state?
Yeah, for sure. Like, sometimes in your race runs, you're like, you at the start line, and next minute you're at the finish line. You're like, what? Like, what did I just do? Like, you're sort of just like, you're at the bottom. Yeah. And they're definitely like the best race runs, most of the time, when you're just so in tune with yourself and the bike, and everything just happens effortlessly, and
it must be like you must it's like everything you do as a professional, racer is training, you to be in that space. If that's where you best perform, are you looking for factors that help you flick that switch? Are you looking for mental cues, or is it a thing of sweet, I've got my kit, my shoes are sorted? Is there an organizational thing beforehand that allows you to, what do you think it is that helps you get into that flow state?
Yeah, for sure. It's it's a process, really. I have my set warm up, and just sort of have everything how I like it. I do the warm up. It's the same every time, and then I have my little I finish my warm up. I have 8-9 minutes before I drop in, and I just sort of almost have a little process. I put my gloves on. I put my helmet on.
And it's always in the same order.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm too specific, but some people I think are quite specific with it. But yeah, I just sort of do a few things and little cues like you said. And it's definitely a a big factor that I feel like isn't really trained that much.
It so should be.
Yeah, which is something I'm looking to get into a bit more. Obviously I do quite a bit.
Psychology stuff.
Yeah, just mentality and psychological things and that type of thing. I might try and get a coach for it. And
I've heard a few people I've pretty much told every guest I consume. Some would say is unhealthy amounts of MTB content, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But a lot of racers are definitely moving in that direction because every bike is so advanced.
Yeah.
The training regimes are so advanced. All bikes are fast. Heaps of, there's heaps more factory teams that you see and come about. People. So the next level is
is that
psychology?
Yeah,
it seems like people are pushing towards it.
Yeah, I feel like the level as well, is even this year, it's so much higher even than just last year.
Yeah, the times are nuts.
Yeah, it's it's just the little things really that are gonna make the difference because really the top 20 guys can be on the podium or win a race almost. It's getting to that level where it's you need that just tiny edge over you need anything you can get, and it's down to the milliseconds really
so crazy. Hundredths of a second can literally be hundreds. Okay, I can't even click that quick. Can put 10 spots down, and you're not. So it's I was only second behind first place, but old mate was let's just say Joe Smith racer, I'm just using an example, he didn't win and he was in 11th, but he was 1 second, 1.3 seconds behind first place. And then above him was the other 10 people leading up to first. That's what the results are like this year.
Yeah. It's pretty insane.
Wild.
Yeah. And in Andorra, my run, I didn't really feel it wasn't one of those full focus runs. I had one or two mistakes at the top and the bottom, and I didn't qualify that well. So I was sort of obviously wanting to do a lot better, and sort of crossed the line, and I was oh, that was a good run, but not nothing crazy. And then went into the hot seat.
I actually have a screenshot of it on my phone.
ended up missing the podium by I think it was 0.17 of a second or something.
Get out.
It was oh damn it. So
0.17 of a second.
Yeah.
I think I was insane.
0.17 was fifth. So
that is so wild because I don't know what it is because a lot of the, let's say, like, Ben Cathro, and all the content he does, like Pink Bank wise, like all the major media outlets is saying like the racing has never been tighter. Like, as soon as, Bruni, let's just say Bruni drops half a second, then, old mate can, it's almost like if you have one super killer sprint, perfect example was Charlie Hatton, like dominating that, lower woods section, at Worlds, and then no one could touch it. Like, if you can literally win a race at this second by having one super, super killer section because all the split times are so tight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty insane. Like, especially like the first splits usually, like at Fort William as well. Like,
yep,
it's like, I don't know, 55-second section and like not a lot going on, but still for everyone to be like half a second, like between first and 60th is like just nothing in it, like down the whole track. So
the crazy thing to think about that is that's going to push people to go, like, you have to be faster. You can't afford 100th or 1/10 of a second to lose. So it being tighter, regardless of whether the UCI is allowing tracks to be, more singular in their line choice and run faster, the racing itself is going to push people to have to be quicker. So it's going to be very interesting as, all the kinks and everything is, it's cool to see like these couple of new tracks and like additions, it seems like everybody's really liking how Leger is looking. It's going to be very interesting with everything being so tight racing wise and so fast, what it's going to look like in 2 or 3 years. Like, what's the times that people are putting down now, like, how much faster can it possibly be if everybody's really pushing the envelope this hard?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like it's a fairly, not a new sport, but it's not like it's been around for that long. And it's just continuing to develop, and everyone's getting faster and pushing the limits, and it's pretty, I think, awesome for the spectators and everything to watch. It's every millisecond counts nowadays.
Yeah, 100%. Look, regardless of, it's really hard not to get, caught. I see some really derogatory and mean comments about, the commentating, and I have my own personal qualms about what I'm seeing. But if you actually take away what people are incessantly whinging about on every single post the UCI makes, if you look at the racing itself, like, it's actually nuts. Like we've been saying, like, if you look at the racing itself and how tight everything is, it's gnarly this year. Like like I said, the top 20 are so freaking close to each other. Like, it's nuts.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy.
What do you, injury out of the way, races out of the way, we're going to see you on the box very shortly, aren't we?
Yeah, I hope so. It's definitely the fire is burning with all these injuries, and just I feel like I've myself with my riding and with the new team this year, like, I've improved so much compared to last year, and riding better than I ever have before, even though I haven't been able to really show it other than maybe like my one result in Andorra. I feel like I was only just getting started. So, looking forward to getting healthy and back on the bike and
wanging off it.
Swinging off the back.
As more and more loves to say, "Oh, Chicken Joe! Oh, stay over, Gary, he's swinging off it." I love that coverage, eh? Like, it's so funny to see. I actually asked Remy, like, how did you get that? Because I said, it'd be cool to have you, like, your bros coming on soon. It'd be cool to have you on as well. And I asked him, how did you get that nickname? And, like, obviously your boy's got like the curly hair and stuff. And like, he told me the story and I was just like, it's funny that, like, just to, diverge a little bit. It's funny that like all these nicknames that guys like Moi Moi and Ed Masters have given people have just stuck because like everyone's seen it in their videos. Like, oh, that's who you are now, and like regardless of whether or not you've got a choice. And he's like, oh, I'm like, what if Remy doesn't like being called Chicken Giant? Sorry, that's your name now.
Yeah. No, yeah, Jack's been doing some cool content with the YouTube, and nicknames are always cool.
It's good to see him happy, like on a loving the team that he's with. He seems to be in a great headspace.
Yeah, I think he's enjoying it, and I'm not really sure how his deal is, but I feel like he's getting pushed to put out that YouTube content as well as race. So I think he's enjoying that, and
100%. It's cool. Do you ever think you give an enduro, like obviously DH is the focus, but can you see yourself at some stage like racing even if it's not committing to a season, would you race another enduro?
Yeah, I think so. I see how the what it looks like for next year as far as downhill and enduro goes. I'll see if I can maybe do one or two next year. But yeah, I feel like for sure in the future, like I'll probably switch like some of the guys have done from downhill to enduro at some point, I think. I love doing both really, and I seem to do pretty well in the enduro as well.
Hey, didn't do too bad not too long ago.
Yeah, it's odd because I put a bit of emphasis on like the Tassie rounds and trained maybe for like a month.
And you won.
Yeah, switching. I sort of switched up because the downhill season was starting pretty late. I was like, may as well put a bit of focus into this and maybe like train for like a month. Like it's not too much different to downhill training, I guess, but just a bit more like base work and longer rides and that type of thing. But it's like I keep doing well in it, but I'm not specifically training for it half the time. So it's like,
someone said like, because Troy Boy won quite a few stages at like Medina, and obviously downhillers have that speed, you know, that confidence at speed, and obviously there's different technicalities, and it's a different fitness, like I was saying, and that. But it was just so funny to see a downhiller like come in and just boom, like just win it.
Yeah.
You just seem to strike me as obviously you have to have a love for mountain bikes if you're going to be a pro racer, but at the core of it, you just strike me as a person that it wouldn't matter if you had to do one or the other, as long as you're racing your bike and you're having fun on your bike, like you're good. You're content.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I just love riding bikes so much. Like even the last few weeks before last week, before I injured myself, like I was just enjoying riding so much. Like just especially when you come back from injury, like when you have time off.
I can't wait. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. To do what we do, and I just love it so much.
Man, look, I know you're on the timer. I'm just checking it out here. But I can't wait to put this episode out. Like, just that stuff before, like talking about why you love this scary stuff, like having those moments. Because a lot of people, like, I understand why people fan. Like if I was to meet, like, I love freeride. If I was to meet Brage, I'm pretty sure I'd fangirl like a little bit, but. As much as you guys, I'll be honest, as much as you guys are racers and these people are racers, like you're people too, and like it's important that, I've said this and I'll say it again, like I'm stoked that I get to see the human side of people as much as I get to be able to provide an insight into, the professional perspective of people's careers. So I really am thankful for your time. And thank you for just being real, man, and being chill and coming on the potty and sharing those insights, but, allowing yourself to have a laugh too, man. It was sick.
Yeah, no worries, man. Thank you for your time. No, I've enjoyed it. It's definitely good to, just keep myself occupied at this time, and
Yeah, cool.
if I can share my knowledge and get people to know me better, it's awesome.
That's it. Knowing you better, people love a story.
Yeah, for sure.
Guys, what a laugh. That was so sick. And thank you, like I said, thank you so much for your time. That was a Fully Pinned podcast. Episode, oh my gosh, what did I say?
9?
Number 9. Yeah, I'm glad you're with it. Episode number 9. With the man, Luke Meier-Smith. Once again, thank you, dude. And yeah, I'll keep in contact and let you know when the episode is out. Yeah, that's it. And peace, my dude.
Thank you very much, man. Cheers.
All good, brother. Catch ya.
Alrighty.
The Fully Pinned podcast.